Hello, we are Hawksman Real Estate. I am James Mason.
And I'm Sarah Colenso.
And we are here to talk to you about the local property market. With many of you asking us questions about what's happening right now, we thought it would be a good idea, time to time, for us to sit down and have a chat about what we believe is going on in the local market. Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the Hawksman podcast. It's now, June. We are into June. We're in the first week of June, nearly coming to an end. The kids are back at school.
For now.
Oh, yes, absolutely. There's not long to go until the long summer holidays and keeping them entertained. But there you go. Property market is still as busy as we've ever seen. In fact, I would say half term was still really quite busy for us, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, yeah.
And then we are only 2 days into the second half of term, but the phone hasn't stopped ringing. It's absolutely bonkers out there. Not all good. Not all good. There's an awful lot of, I don't want to say the word time wasting.
Should we say toing and froing?
Toing and froing. Yes, there is. You have to pick your buyers and you have to pick your clients at the moment because it's a very, very mixed market, but we are enjoying it.
We're winning at the moment, aren't we? So far, so good.
We're winning at the moment. So yes, absolutely. But listen, today we are continuing our theme with chatting to specialists within the property market and within, jobs around the house, let's say, and services.
Yes.
Because, look, the world has changed dramatically, hasn't it? And I think that the way that we live within our homes, obviously we've talked about this over the last 10 years and 15 years and 20 years has changed. But now, very, very specifically, the way that we are operating within our homes has changed as well. So it gives me great pleasure to invite Richard Coleman from Luxe Smart Homes to join us. Richard, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Pleasure to be here with you guys as well. It's been watching all the podcasts. It's been great. Looking forward to it.
Well, look, we've worked together for a number of years now.
Yeah, about 6 years now.
Yeah, exactly. And you have done some tremendous work for us. Yeah. And I never quite understand what it is you say when you're doing it. I am a dinosaur when it comes to all of this. I can just about use my iPhone, but anything more than that, I am an estate agent from the past when it comes to wiring and all of that in the house. So you are invaluable, my friend.
And my confession is that when I'm doing a viewing of a smart home and you go to that room that's air conditioned with all the boxes and the wires in, I say, and this is the clever cupboard. Any more than that, I go, I'll have to find out for you. And I close the door and we move on. So
that's the room where all of our centralized stuff comes back to. But it is actually the brain of the home, whereas you've got the incoming suppliers that will go to other parts, the actual brain of the home, the network, all the AV kit, all the lighting panels, all the air conditioning bits. They're all in there. So it's very important that they are.
How do you deal with clients who don't really understand it once you've installed it? Do you get a lot of...
There's a lot of training that has to go on with anything that we do. We've got to make sure that they walk through the product and they're actually using it in their home and they're comfortable with it. So we'll spend some time once we've just done the installation and then we'll go away. We'll normally keep coming back in a couple of weeks' time or a month or so's time.
It's more of a relationship, isn't it?
I was saying to Sarah earlier that we are the last peoples in when a renovation is done or someone moves into a house. And we're there for years in just popping in. All the software needs updating on all of the tech that we put in. Normally it can go on an auto update, but sometimes that can throw other things out, that's where we're there. Someone gives us a call, we go back and we reboot a few things, make sure everything's where it should be. And everything works as normal again.
And look, for those people out there who may not know what a smart home is, what is the definition? Or what are we talking about here? In layman's terms, Rich, break it down for us dinosaurs. What is a smart home?
So it's usually a home that's taking a lot of that anxiety and stress out of having multiple different bits of technology standing on their own. Just having an integrated system where it's easy for you to go up to a touchscreen and tap a couple of things to make something happen. Or if you want to access your music quite easily, it's all something that's very easy, as opposed to having 5 or 6 remotes to deal with to switch things on in a certain order in order to get the TV on to Sky Sports or something.
Are we all of an age where we remember where that remote control came out that operated all of your gadgets?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was called a one for all, wasn't it?
I think so.
And the thing is, with more and more equipment in a media room or a cinema room, each thing comes with its own remote.
Yeah.
So it is important to consolidate that. And most people think, do I really need one of them? As soon as I say, would you rather use 5 different remote controls? Most people go, no, I hate it. I never watch it. And it's like these barriers of which technology creates. We're trying to break these down to make things more simple. And that is what a smart home should be. I guess the extension from that is where we can start to do cool things with lights, and we can make sure that in the background, maybe the system is turning the air conditioning on, but turning the heating off, or vice versa. So things aren't fighting. Or it can take a reading from what the weather's like outside and just prepare your home for when you get home. If you're traveling back from London, or you've got the ability, everyone's got smartphone apps now. It doesn't matter how much you hate technology, you've got a smartphone app and you're used to doing things on that. So why would you not be able to switch the heating on when you're in Barbados because you're coming home from your holiday in January and you want the heating to be back on.
And are these tech companies making it you would imagine they would, but are they making it user-friendly? And is that getting better and better as we go along? Is it?
You still kind of got...
There'll be high-end stuff, I'm sure.
No, you still get a company will have their thing and then someone will copy it and someone will copy it. And then all of a sudden you've got 3 different choices to choose from. But they don't kind of like to share their intellectual property with each other. So they kind of want you all in their own ecosystem, similar to Apple. Right. It's an ecosystem. It doesn't work with like a Samsung ecosystem. There is a round table being had by all of them, though, to create a language or a computer programming language. Where they are going to share, they're all going to speak the same language. So you could have a Samsung Light talk to an Apple TV, talk to a, Honeywell thermostat.
How much unraveling do you have to do if it's not a new build? If someone's just decided, right, we're using our home differently, or we bought a house, which we're really happy with, love everything about it, except it's not smart enough for us. How much unraveling and how much bad news do you have to give people?
So normally it's a house which has just got standalone things. So that's standalone underfloor heating, air conditioning, lighting, security, network, TV, and it's all of these things have got their own app, and so all of a sudden on a phone you've got 5 or 6 different apps to do 5 or 6 different things, and you've probably got multiple logins for that, and someone hasn't updated their phone, someone in the house can't switch the lights on or can't switch the heating on, it's down to someone else to do that. We're basically connecting these things up together so that they go into a single platform, which anyone can tap on a heating button and then move a dial to make it warmer or colder. So when people go into new homes or they're doing renovation work, I found myself just learning all these other trades and then how they operate and how the end user experience is going to be. It's got to be simple and easy to use. But your heating guy or your plumber or your electrician, they're only thinking about their job. Job. They're not thinking about bolting it on. So eventually you'd have 5 or 6 different apps. And the worst manifestation of this is when you've got a thermostat on the wall for your heating, air conditioning, security, lights, and you've just got a plethora of switches on the walls, which is just because 5 or 6 different trades have thought independently and given someone control on a wall to just kind of like an air traffic controller, kind of like, what am I trying to do here? Just turn the heating on,
it's not aesthetically pleasing, is it, to have all those on one wall?
And what we're specialists at is just pulling all those switches off the wall and just having a single switch which will do multiple things. Or the heating thermostat doesn't need to be on the wall anymore. You can program it to do things, and it will, if you really need to, you can just whip out your phone and turn the heating up on that, rather than having to go upstairs and turn that one down and this one down, or the TRVs on the radiators.
So the stuff I know about smart homes, obviously you've got lighting, you've got heating, you've got your AV systems. What are the things that people might not know about that you can integrate onto this one magic panel?
Well, one of the key things that most people forget is actually it's the internet, it's the network, which is the hub, which all of these things come back into. And that's the thing that most people forget about. And it is actually the most important. It's the backbone of everything else. It needs to be able to connect to the internet. I mean, obviously people have, since I've been doing this, I've seen multiple different waves of how people are living in their homes. And with the COVID lockdown, everyone was locked in straight away. Oh, my internet's not very good at home. It's rubbish upstairs. I have to create a secondary desk downstairs.
Wasn't that a common theme on everyone's WhatsApp groups?
Yeah.
Anyone else having a problem with Virgin or Sky or BT? Yeah. All services apply. And actually, we're not the BBC. We can say what we want. Yeah, it was mainly Virgin, actually. But no, again, we had it on our road where people were saying, well, is anyone having a problem with that? And there were connectivity issues, and it may have just been through overuse at that time. But is that something that comes up regularly for you, where there is a problem with one provider in one area, let's say, and you have to try and change it?
I think they're probably all as bad as each other.
Or good.
Being honest,
Bad or good.
Always good. And what I would say is, for them, the door came down, everyone was locked in. All of a sudden, no one's going up into the city anymore, and everyone's staying at home. Whereas their infrastructure was built for everyone to go to the city and not be at home. Yeah. And so everyone's speed was a bit slow. They had to rip out cables and go into those green boxes and do all that recalibrating of a service quite quickly. But they're only going to take you to your front door. Once it's inside your house, it's your problem to get the Wi-Fi all the way up to the loft if you just quickly set a desk up there.
Well, this is it, isn't it? We've gone from having one study or office to now having multi-workspaces for both partners, kids, 2-3 kids sometimes. We're talking about 5 separate workspaces in a house now. So it is incredibly different.
At least one device each, if not a laptop and an iPad and a phone or whatever. So,
and that's also an extension of the light. With technology is always changing, always moving. We've got so many more devices in people's homes now. And even a family with 2 children, and you're going to have about 20 devices on your network, and you think, okay, that's a lot. I didn't really think I had that. But it just, the numbers just keep going up and up. The more phones that people get, or PlayStations, Apple boxes, TVs, all these bridges that connect a heating system to the internet or lighting or security. These all things have a box which needs to be on the network, and you have to start to manage these networks so that they operate efficiently, which means you don't see any dips within your home. So you're getting fastest speed into the house, and then everyone's using it in an efficient manner. And when we first started out in the business, we did quite a lot of like Wi-Fi installations where we would take the incoming feed and put it in different parts of the home so everyone had great Wi-Fi. And the big businesses have caught up on that now, and it's now something that you can get from Amazon, a fairly good system that just you put it together and
ping it around
the house, and it kind of solves that issue where we have to use more technical and more specialist equipment is when we're doing a new build and there's rock solid concrete walls and concrete floors, and the signal's not going to pass through the internal structure of the house as efficiently. But that's when we would come in and we'd hardwire everything and have probably more enterprise grade product at the end of it, as opposed to if you've got nice wooden floors and stud work in the wall.
I was going to say, if you're talking about, so there's lots of people, we get contacted all the time from people who are looking to build their new home. So buy a plot and then build something. We talked about that with Dave last time. Ideally, on, let's say, a new build, we can talk about extensions after, on a new build property, how early do you like to be involved? You say you're the last one in, but do you want to be, do you need to be right at the beginning? Last one out.
We want to be the first one in.
You want to be the first one in, last one out. Okay.
Because ultimately, if it's not thought about at the design stage, when it's on, everything's on paper and people are thinking about what they want, it's just a cable might not be put in the right place. And at the end of the day, you get to the latter stages, and if that hasn't been thought about, you're ripping into the walls again, and then there might not be the appetite to do that, and then you're kind of, you haven't got quite what you wanted, and you haven't thought about.
So really at design phase,
and we'll say to people who are doing new builds, we say, having underfloor heating everywhere, and I'm already start to just design the whole thing.
You've just got a list of questions on a new build that is, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and then you start planning.
Exactly, from our point of view, because the architect might pick it up, or by the time the subcontracted guys from the builders are involved, the thing is already moving, and they might already have missed the opportunity to put something.
Once that concrete's poured,
it doesn't. Yeah. Well, I have seen some builders chipping away at the floors, and I'm like, you should, but because sometimes builders and clients can move too quickly.
Yeah.
But it's better to have these conversations, and we'll just talk everything tech, and then usually we've covered every base, and then. But sometimes on these long 2 or 3 year builds, things again can
change,
start to change, So,
and then if you're looking at, say, I'm using the word retrofit, but if you're going into something where there's an existing house, you say you've got a lovely 1930s house that someone's going to do a big wraparound extension on. Yeah. Are you just taking it back to basics on that? Are you taking what they've got and upgrading it, or are you just stripping everything out?
We would if they're only doing the extension part, then we'll probably just be working in that extension part, and we'll be getting our services to that new part, and there'd be a little hub within there.
Okay.
The other way of doing it is when people are renovating really old houses that you can't really touch, a listed building, but we can get up into the lofts, and then you just start to drop cables down behind drain pipes and into each room.
Okay.
And that's how you make a really, really old house modern and with the connectivity.
So it can be done?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
and it's we have to be far more creative because you can't run a cable across the floor. It's kind of got to be in these nooks and crannies.
It sounds like keyhole surgery almost.
Yeah, it is. And as opposed to when it's a full renovation, everything's open. It's very simple to say.
Yeah.
And visually for us to check what's going on, to see everything. When it's old fashioned, we have to work with what the client wants, and you can't have a house which is maybe 600 years old that's still living in the 70s because that's the last time it was kind of touched. It needs to be, renovated to a certain point.
But that's really reassuring that it can be done, and it can be done sensitively as well. So you're not looking at God knows what going down your walls and all cables and everything. So
I mean, we would usually. I mean, when you look at some of these similar room to this, where all of a sudden they want a speaker over there or some more lighting over there, it depends upon what is allowed from the architectural point of view. But that is probably where my limit is. If it's something that we can hide and just bring in at certain discrete locations, then that's great. But
I'm guessing wireless is your friend as well, isn't it?
It's a double-edged sword, because people think that wireless can do everything. Whereas the more things that are using that wireless, they're all grabbing the bit of the signal that they can. Whereas a solid cabled connection is going from A to B. A is sending that, B is receiving that. Whereas if we all got our mobile phones out at the same time and tried to access something, there would be a slight dip for someone, just because that data signal has to pass through the air. And
is that why I can never post a photo at Twickenham?
That's why I was like, Wembley Stadium.
Absolutely. They've got
I was actually there 3 hours ago, and it's now just gone through as I found Wi-Fi.
They've got the best Wi-Fi equipment that there is. But even still, it can't handle 60,000 people all looking at the phone at half time.
Will there be a time when everyone can? The irony of EE sponsoring these big stadiums, like, well, I can't get a signal. Will there be a time when they can do it?
I do think it has improved.
Okay.
There's certain stadiums where I've been to Wembley, I've been to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Yeah. You seem to be able to do things quite freely there, but that's probably because Wembley not so much, but with the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it's all new.
Yes.
So these companies probably don't want to update.
Isn't that the smartest stadium in the world? I mean, I'm not football. Did she? Oh wow!
Yeah, she was there. That's where she was doing her concert.
Wonderful.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, they also with the LED and the colours that they do, but we like to bring that into people's homes as well. Not everyone likes it, but some people absolutely love it. And a little bit of LED and with colour, especially teenagers, they're always saying, or the mums are saying, "Oh, can we put some LED in their room?" And I'm like, well, yeah, you can, but they're probably grown out of it.
They'll do their heads in after a while.
You just have to. You just have to find that balance that it just doesn't look like the set of Love Island.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those things. So welcome to Casa Amor. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So obviously, look, you've been running 6 years now. Yeah. Is it 6 years?
Yes, 6 years.
So we've talked about how the property market has changed, and obviously how people, and we've all been through a lot. We talk about lockdown now and all this kind of stuff, and how we've come out the other side. I imagine the kind of inquiries you've had have changed dramatically from
Absolutely.
6 years ago to now, have they? Or
Yeah.
what? I mean, I don't know. Look, what would say be the number one inquiry that you had when you first started? What was the number one request that people were asking for?
It was Wi-Fi and
Yeah.
internet.
Just as simple as
Just-
that.
Yeah, because
Make our house
five,
Make
6
it
years
quicker.
ago,
Make
was-
it quicker.
Yeah, 5 or 6 years
And all
ago,
over the
it
house.
was slower. I
Right.
mean, in the last couple of years, BT have rolled out faster broadband
Right.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Whereas 5 years ago, people who do 80 meg were like, "Wow, you're on a fast speed." Now I'm like, no, not so much. But
Right.
so that's what was the most important thing then. What we're getting calls for now, and pretty much most of the jobs that we've done in the last sort of 18 months,
Yeah.
is like more home cinema things. Just
Really?
people spending more time in their home, but wanting to do it with spend a bit of money and
of
have
style.
a nice cinematic experience, whether it's a TV projector, but an awesome sound system.
And I wonder if that is a direct result of being in your house for more time.
Yeah.
I wonder, and he's saying, well, hold on, we need to utilise our spaces better. We all talked about people who were stuck in lockdown that had tennis courts and swimming pools and saying, gosh, it must have been awful for you. You absolutely are. Oh, yeah, in the bowling alley. But I think, having that home cinema experience must be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, because I guess during lockdown, people were forced to watch things on Netflix or just start to binge on massive box sets, which have probably been there for quite a few years, but they just hadn't got round to it. And then a lot of people started looking at this room's not being used anymore. We could do this.
That's what I was going to ask. Is it a dedicated home cinema room for watching movies, primarily making an event out of it? Or are they converting a room that they use regularly into more of an experience room?
So basically, you can pimp up a new TV room. So you've got a basic surround sound system, but it's still an open plan living room. There's still multiple things going on. But if you want to sit down, that sounds great. But if you do want a room where you can really turn the volume up and just you feel all the energy of an action film. You're jumping out of your seats because it sounds that good and it's coming from all around you. You want to do that in a room where we can put more speakers. So the bigger the room, the more speakers we'll need to put in and the more amplification to get that sound to travel all around. So you might be aware of like 5.1 systems, but with Dolby Atmos, it's adding in overhead speakers, which just means when those guys are mastering their films or the director is coming up with how he wants this to sound and feel, the sound moves around you and from above.
And you can have that in your own home. You don't have to go to the Odeon and Epsom for that.
Absolutely.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Well, I never.
And I've watched Top Gun at home and I've got a soundbar and a subwoofer and it's okay. But I'm putting these cinema rooms in all the time and you're clinging onto the seats as you're doing some of these, final scenes where he's doing the test or the duel and all this kind of stuff. And it's amazing. I mean, there's been quite a lot of war films out in the last sort of 3 or 4 years. And when you're watching something like that, you're hearing planes going.
It's the helicopter.
Yeah, helicopter.
It's when you hear the helicopter.
And those low frequencies that you get with a helicopter landing, right? Or that sound, you feel that. And that's the difference when, we just used to watch things on TV. Yeah. But also the providers, so Netflix or Sky or HBO, TV in itself is more cinematic now.
Yes.
The Game of Thrones final couple of series, they were like hour and a half long episodes, which is a feature film in itself. So in itself has got, or Stranger Things or things like that, which has just become really epic. And having that surround sound system it's so much fun. And it's one of the things that our clients just, as soon as we've given it to them, we called them on the Monday morning, hadn't given it to them on Friday, and they love it. And you see on their Apple TV, they might have 6 or 7 films there. You go there 2 years later, they've got 90 films that they've downloaded. So you just know that they're using
That's
it.
brilliant.
Careful what you download. If you're coming back. I imagine also sporting events must be phenomenal. I mean, we always joked about last night of the Masters, Sunday night, getting the lads around, beer and wine night with it on. It must just be amazing to watch. Yeah, and the picture quality is insane,
and boxing
right?
as well. I'm not a boxing fan, but I can imagine if you were, it'd be incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Sky have most of the football, the cricket, the golf and the F1, that's all in Dolby Atmos in 4K. So you are hearing that, the goal goes in, or or the cars coming around. You know, they put the microphones on the track so that you can get all that.
Yeah.
And to be honest, when you go back to a cinema now, when you're working in a smaller space with amazing equipment, we can make these rooms sound way better than a commercial cinema.
Really?
Way better. And it's just for our clients to enjoy. And I guess probably one of the things that happened from COVID was, I kind of think the cinema industry was probably struggling a little bit way before going into COVID because films were a bit formulaic, or I don't know if the Marvel universe just took over cinema. But as soon as everyone was locked down and they decided, are we going to launch our film now, or are we going to hold off, or are we going to do this, do that? Some of them were just putting it straight out there and just get it out there.
Yeah.
And it's now available. You know, you're seeing much shorter lead time from a film being on at cinema to being on an Apple TV or Sky to buy.
Absolutely.
Then it being on part of your movie package or something like that.
Yes,
I think you're right. As John Wick was out in the cinema, you could buy it.
Oh, could you?
No, you could pre-order it on Sky so that it came out just a few weeks later.
And Avatar's now out on
I think it's
Disney
been
for
out.
free, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's been out, and it's
now for free.
Yeah,
amazing.
It's incredible. Yeah.
So cinemas are probably the hottest thing in your business right now.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And area-wise, like within the house, we've been to many houses where we've had cinemas up on the top floor or above a garage or in the basement. What tends to work the best, Rich? Is it different in each house?
I think the basement. Right. If you've got a young family.
Hey, well, if you've got a basement.
Yeah, if you've got a basement, put it in there. Because by the time you get to the first floor, you're not going to hear it if it's really
wouldn't
loud.
put it, but you wouldn't put it above the baby's room, would you?
No, you wouldn't.
Probably not.
So if you've got an older family with teenagers, then you're probably pulling them back into a family scenario where they're going to sit down and watch something with you because it sounds so good. They can't argue with that. They might not want to be with mum and dad, but when
they'll
they sit
tolerate
there,
you for the film.
This is better than watching it on my iPad.
Yes.
I'm going to sit with mum and dad. And just, they can be over there, they can be over here. But if you've got younger kids, it's probably a little bit of a challenge to really crank that system up if you've got kids that you don't want to wake up, which you wouldn't want to wake them up.
And I suppose if you're on a modern build or a new build, if you're in the basement, you've got a concrete floor above you as well, haven't you? So
basements,
that will protect some of the sound as well.
So we'll soundproof the room internally.
And how soundproof do you get it? I mean, we've seen them from the past with the kind of crinkle, the eggshell foam on the wall and stuff like that. But now is it just a whole different class?
Yeah, I mean, it's still something that we have to manage. The bigger the room, the more amplifiers we're putting in there, the louder it can get.
Right.
You will still hear very soft sound on the biggest crash downstairs in the kitchen if it was directly above it. But that's.
Can you hide it now though? Would you know that a room is soundproofed, or does it look like a regular wall if you're in at the right time?
So no, we build out the walls and we do all our insulation and we put wall paneling on the inside of it. So all of a sudden you've got your brick wall, your stud work, and then you've got your insulation, and then you've got a fabric panel. So it's about this big.
Right.
It's rooms within a room to just get that soundproofing. The door is where the sound is going to escape, and you can have like double-sided doors. But if someone opens that door, it'll be wah, and close the door. Wah. So that can still happen. But yeah, it's when you're dealing with people who maybe their children have left home and they want that cinema room, it's fine to go upstairs.
Go for it.
Can you integrate a baby monitor if you've got a little one? Get it onto your smart panel.
They normally have the baby monitor right next to them.
Right,
but
you wouldn't want the baby monitor on the surround sound, though. Could you imagine the screams? No, absolutely not. Dearie me. No, when the kids go, they blow the inheritance, don't they? I think that's absolutely the right thing to do. Why are you selling the house? We're going on a cruise.
Normally, that when we've done those cinema rooms in the upper floors, the parents will say, can you just also get some Bluetooth headphones so that when the kids come back, they can stick that on when they're doing their gaming or something.
Yeah.
And it doesn't wake us up.
Yeah.
So,
that's really good. Yeah, that makes sense.
Epic. Brilliant. I mean, I have to say, smart homes are the way forward, aren't they? We're all keen to learn how we can embrace technology, even if some of us don't understand it as much.
Enjoy a simplified version.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've rung you and asked you questions about things. So thank you for bearing with us on that. But it just sounds fascinating. And I have to say, as a job, you must just love going around to these houses and playing with all these toys and putting them in and really, Rich, changing people's lives because it is changing the way people live, isn't it?
It is. It's giving them a comfort blanket that when the technology is not working as it should do, that there's someone there to help them, to make sure it's all okay. And yeah, we're experiencing knowing where the pain points are and zoning in very quickly on what the problem is and fixing it quite quickly.
Fantastic.
And it doesn't hurt that you're the most patient man in the world.
He really is.
We have asked you some really dumb questions over the years. So thank you very much for putting up with us. So.
No, but people have busy lives, so they just want things to work, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
God, isn't that the truth? We all just want things to work now, don't we? Well,
first
there you go.
time every time.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, well, let's have a drink to that. Sarah,
right, okay.
You're in charge of the gin again?
Yes. Richard, do you have any connections to Yorkshire at all?
I don't.
Okay, never mind. You're still welcome here.
No one's perfect.
No one's perfect.
No one's
we
perfect.
are both children of Yorkshiremen, as far as we're aware. So I've got casting aspersions on both our fathers, but there we go. Oh, mothers.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So today I've got a special one for lots of different reasons.
Oh.
You know I love a cup of tea.
Hang on.
And Mason's gin. Dry Yorkshire gin, not London, Yorkshire
Made
gin.
with Yorkshire water.
Tea edition.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Tea?
Tea. It's a brew in a gin. So, yes. So
we're having a cup of tea, not a gin and
juniper
tonic.
citrus, spice and black tea, crisp with a long, dry, refreshing finish. Please do enjoy.
Right, well, cheers.
Cheers. Thanks, Richard.
Cheers, Rich. Yeah, thanks for coming in, mate.
Cheers, James.
Oh, lovely. Right, tea.
Oh.
Tastes like gin to me, but let's try again.
I like that one. I have to say, I haven't met a gin I didn't like.
It's a gin and tonic.
That's a good one.
I don't know if there's tea in it. I don't really drink tea, but very nice.
It tastes lovely.
Very nice. Well done,
Nice,
mate.
isn't it? Yeah.
Masons. Well done, Masons. I do like a Masons gin, actually.
Yeah.
Right. Well, look, I hope you found that interesting. We certainly have here talking to Richard. And if you are thinking of doing any work to your house and upgrading your smart technology, Richard's the man to talk to. His details will probably be somewhere here on the podcast you can find. If not, get in touch with us and we can pass on. And if you are thinking about selling your home, now is a fantastic time to do it. The sun is starting to shine. The gardens are looking amazing. And that's what's bringing buyers down into this fantastic area that we all call home. Get in touch and we can help you with your move.